Hey, Gavox here. There is a huge change to MLB The Show 20 from 19 that I don't hear nearly enough people talking about. One of the biggest on-field, for the gameplay changes that we'll have next year that's going to impact a wide range of pitchers and really hitters because pitchers and hitters interact. Going to make a lot of cards into budget studs and guys that will play over their stats next year. It's a quirk. Let's let the Sony San Diego studios developers explain the outlier quirk before we break it down, talk about who to look at, and kind of show what it means.
What can you tell us about an outlier quirk? What is the outlier quirk this year, Rory?
On Noah Syndergaard, he has the outlier on his sinker. So
what is the outlier quirk?
Right, the outlier quirk basically goes on a guy who throws a fastball, usually fastball, sinker, cutter, throws it faster than the average, than what our game really even has it as.
Faster than our
above
limit.
the cap.
So what he's saying is that the velocity on some pitches, and we've talked about this in previous years, is one of my main bugaboos, and I'm really glad that they listen, not necessarily to me, but to the community, to make these guys actually throw the velocity that they're at. We've seen a lot of these. Let's go through some gameplay examples that they gave in another one. So like players, like this one's Alvarado, right? And this is him in 19, the show 19, throwing his four-seamer, or throwing, sorry, his two-seamer, and he can hit, 100, I think, right? Tops out 98, 100. Now let's fast forward to what he has in 20 and what he's looking like in the velocity stats here for 20. So two-seamer, 102, right? The two-seamers last year wouldn't top out over 100, right? We saw it at 100. So the fact that he actually throws 102 is now reflected in game. Not just him, but we'll see a little bit of Chapman do this. We'll see a few different guys. We'll let the gameplay play out as it goes. So there's going to be a lot of cards. Not necessarily just top-end guys, not necessarily just legends. They said legends is something to look at, too, going forward with guys that maybe beat this velocity number. So these guys with this quirk is something we're going to want to look for right away. That was kind of a four-seamer in the zone that missed. But anyway, that was a ball. So now he's throwing 102. I believe this is last year also, so let's see. This is Chapman, 102. I believe, is that this year's gameplay? Yeah, this is this year. So he's sitting 102. Last year, I think you could potentially, like rarely get up to 102, but 101 is basically the max I felt last year. So 102 on the four-seamer for Chapman because of that quirk. Now, the only downside of that quirk is you guys know how much you guys have seen like the filthiest pitches of the year. You've seen those GIFs on the internet. It doesn't affect movement to my knowledge. I really wish there was like the outlier movement so that way we could actually see just how big these things move. Like here's Syndergaard last year. All right, they really move it on quickly for you. I'll pause it onto this next one. So here's Syndergaard last year, and there it is. Sinker at, come on, 96, right? Because the sinker topped out at 95 last year. So you could always pump it up a mile or 2 miles per hour higher than the max. So the sinker, Syndergaard actually throws it at near 100. All right, now there it is, a sinker at 101. I'm going to try and pause it before they flash on for this next one, because that's really what we're looking at. All right, 100 on the sinker. So Syndergaard, even though he's not one of the top 5 pitchers in the live series, with this sinker at 100, because players, when they play the game, right, when you're up there at bat, you're used to how fast, how things move, kind of like you're into a groove, you understand how these pitchers throw generally. But somebody that throws such an outlying pitch, like they say the outlier quirk, something that's completely different than what you're used to seeing, I think would be absolute budget studs. Not necessarily like, maybe for BR2, you'll want to find players with the outlier stats for your, pitcher squads, especially with a 3-batter minimum. I think that changes a lot of things. So they were always very good because stuff isn't reflected in stats. So they were always very good. But I think they were even be better this year. So we'll just go through and kind of show it again. A lot of going from 19 to 20. So, I guess BR, it's hard to really throw the ball past people because it's an all-star difficulty. But once you get to, Hall of Fame, legend, we're hitting 102, right? That's just going to be impossible to really put a bat on. Maybe not impossible, but very hard to kind of get that and the difference between pitches and velocities. So definitely look out for the outlier quirk. So lack of movement on that's probably a issue like I talked about, but I want to go through guys that we want to look at too, right? Guys that potentially could get this outlier quirk or that should deserve it. And obviously some players can come up from the minor leagues that would deserve it too, but Jordan Hicks obviously throws at 101 average fastball velocity. Munoz, Clace, Guerrero, Clace, he just got traded, right? Gratterall, I think Clace in my out of the park baseball sim became like a Hall of Fame closer for me. Vasquez, I don't know is Vasquez going to be in the game this year? I don't know if he'll even be on our roster, so maybe he won't be in the game. But Harvey, like all these guys, I mean, sitting 98 with your fastball, that's solid, right? Because you can hit 99 for the fastball without the outlier quirk, but like the sinker, right? Sinker, which Hicks throws at 100 is crazy. Chapman throws the sinker at 100, weird. Gratterall, Guerrera, there's Alvarado right there at 98. So he got the outlier quirk at 98 miles per hour with the sinker, which makes sense because the sinker tops out down here around 96. So these guys Blake might get it. I mean, he's slightly above. He might get it. It depends on really how generous they are at giving that. DeGrom throws at 97 sinker. All right, solid. Sir Anthony. All right, and then like their changeups low 90s. That's within the changeup range, I believe. But basically, they said it is mainly fastballs, right? They get this like sliders that come in at an average of 94. I mean, that's insanely quick, right? That is kind of crazy. So a slider that comes in the same as his fastball. I don't know if that's a miscalculation by Fangraphs or what, but not a bad thing to have, right? Bumgarner's slide. Wait, what? His slider comes in at 93 versus 91 fastball. Wow. Okay, I'm not sure that's right, but. Hell, I'll take it, right? Like, whereas like DeGrom slider at 92 versus fastball 97, that makes a lot more sense. But like with the slider's faster than the fastball, I'll just say Not sure. I'm sure there's an explanation for that. But like curveballs, fast and slow curveballs, that'd be kind of cool to have an outlier. I mean, there are slow curves in the game. An outlier, what about the slowest average? Oh, they have like zeros. Darn it. How do we get to like the slowest average? Let's keep going. Curveball 86. See what the slowest average curveball is. 80. There's some really slow curveballs in there. 78. Let's keep going. Let's go down like 15. 75. That's a really nice slow curveball. 64. All right, these kind of small sample sizes. Yeah, Corbin. Remember that Corbin curveball? That finest card I think he has? Really slow curve off a nice fastball. Really messes people up. So that's kind of a cool. It would be cool to have like a curveball outlier. Ben Zobrist in his one relief pitching. Mike Reynolds. Yeah, so like a lot of this stuff is some position players coming in. Greinke's got that 70 edge. Greinke's got that really slow curve you guys remember from his card. Made him dominant too. So outliers, ideally they make it like also movement, like guys that just have crazy movement side to side. Maybe that's in the future. I always like having the game have more like specialized stuff to individual players to make them feel unique. So this just adds to it. Like the outlier quirk, allowing the card to kind of get his true velocity is really freaking neat. All right, and I love it. I don't know. What do you guys think? Who do you think should get an outlier pitch? Right? Who down the road should get something that makes them very unique and different, that kind of like separates them from the pack, besides for just a Roldis Chapman. I don't think this will go in like caps or anything like that, or might be, I don't know if you'll be able to do it in Road to the Show. That would be cool too, but that's kind of the biggest difference maker for the game, this outlier quirk. I'm looking forward to it. It's really too bad they can't put the right velocities on like the pitch repertoires. Instead, they have to use a quirk to get it. But you know, it is what it is. Coding's weird sometimes, so you know, it is what it is. As long as it's accurate in game, that's all I care about when I'm on the field. All right, thanks for watching. Call to action. I'll see you